My necklace changed. My favorite necklace is one of those layered ones that has a 3-in-1 all connected and a pendant on one of the chains. I put it on, take it off almost every day for 2 years now. A couple weeks ago, I put my necklace on the way I normally do. The pendant was backwards, meaning it needs to be clasped the other way instead. I tie it up the same way every day with my dominant hand behind my head. I can't even do it with my non-dominant hand without a lot of trial and error. Weird. I began wearing it the other way. A few days ago, I put it on, and now the pendant is on a different chain. I go back and look at pictures, and sure enough, the pendant not only flipped itself at one point, but then at a later date moved to a different chain. It used to be on the bottom, and now it's in the middle, so it changes the whole shape. There's no possible way for it to move chains or flip on its own. The 3 chains are secured together at the ends where the clasp begins. I thought maybe I had forgotten I had repaired it at some point. I really don't think so, but maybe. But forgotten that I had repaired it twice? I don't have memory issues. Furthermore, the pendant clasp has no signs of being repaired. You know when the thin links get all bent, don't align, show stress cracks after having to pry them open and closed again? I do it often with my other jewelry, but not this one. Good news is I can just repair it back to normal, how I liked it. My friend's house disappeared. My mom was driving me to my longtime best friend's house. I was older than 16, but don't drive due to disability. My friend and I had been inseparable for years, so we had made this drive across town many times. The ride was uneventful until we entered her neighborhood. The route to her house from there was very simple. Take the first right, and her house was at the end of the cul-de-sac on the right-hand side. We did that, but this time her house was not there. We backtracked, did the same thing, and nope, still not there. I called her, very confused. She told me she would stay on the phone and stand in her front yard so we could spot her. We repeated the route again, nothing. We finally went down the next street just in case we were wrong somehow, but still no dice. As a note, the street sign never changed until we intentionally went down the second street. It always showed her correct street name. At this point, it feels like the Twilight Zone, and I'm panicking. I'm ready to turn around and go home. But we went down her street one last time, and there she was, waiting in her yard. There was no way to loop around to other streets or have missed anything, so I have no idea how we could have missed it, especially when the route was so simple and we had driven it countless times. My friend and I ended up having a bad falling out a few years later, and although it wasn't anything sinister that caused the break, I still think of this situation and get an uneasy feeling when I see her on social media. Bustling cafe deserted and closed in seconds. This happened a few weeks ago in LA. I was walking with a friend to my car to drop something off. On the way, we passed a busy upscale cafe with multiple people sitting outdoors at tables with food and such. There was a small line inside waiting to order. It was so busy, I made a mental note to check it out sometime. This coffee shop was only half a block from my car and on the same street. I put our things in the car and we immediately walked back towards the cafe, but the cafe was empty and closed. The outdoor tables and chairs were no longer there. Inside was dark and empty. I saw one person inside wiping the counter, but that was it. It was so shocking, I stopped walking and stared at the cafe. Less than 60 seconds ago, it was open and full of people. My friend noticed me freeze up and asked what was up. I explained to them. They just shrugged and said they didn't really notice the cafe at all as we walked by. It still makes me shudder a bit. Feels like I seamlessly shifted into a new reality.